Hello everyone, I'm Risha. In today's video, I'll be sharing exactly how I ended up attending the National Mental Health Summit alone. Yes, finally, with no company. In this video, I'll tell you how did I know about the event and even the backstory before it. How did I manage to go alone? How was the experience? What are the core learnings I got from the event and how did the summit change me? So if you're interested what really happened and how I ended up attending the National Mental Health Summit, then without further ado, let's keep moving. So basically, if you are following me on Instagram, you may have an idea what I'm talking about because I shared a lot of posts and stories about it. But if you have no idea, no worries. So the National Mental Health Summit is the first ever summit about mental health here in the Philippines. So being able to attend that 2-day event was something that I'm very proud of. Quick backstory about everything that happened months before the National Mental Health Summit. August was so hard. It has been one of the hardest months that I have to go through this 2022. Things were piling up with several things like work, school, even family problems are piling up. So I really couldn't handle it. So I thought about seeing a therapist. It was August 29th when I received a reply from a therapist that I inquired into via email. It was surprising because it was my birthday that time when I received the email from her. After that moment, I even received several replies from different therapists who are offering psychological consultation and even psychotherapy session. So I thought maybe that's God's sign for me na I really have to see a therapist. However, it was September 2nd when I have to move out because of school kasi kailangan kong mag-apartment sa Batangas City. So I kind of give myself September, the whole month of September to think through it because honestly, I'm not into rush. I don't think that my condition was really in need of a therapist. I just considered it. I told myself, okay, you have this whole September to think if you really want to see a therapist or if you really need one. You guys bet I really waited for several triggers and several situations that will even convince me to see a therapist. So during the first few weeks of September habang nasa apartment, I just let it pass. After all, I'm having fun, I'm happy, I'm just doing my thing and all that. There's also a part of me that I'm scared to do it. Aside from the fact that it will financially affect me, of course, I am also scared with the emotional aftermath. I'm telling you this story because this is me personally being vulnerable because I want this channel of mine to be a platform where I'm becoming just myself and being vulnerable about the things that I'm uncomfortable talking about. Me attending the National Mental Health Summit 2022 is me exploring things, me taking risks, and me finally normalizing conversations about mental health. So now, how did I know about the National Mental Health Summit 2022? It was September 30th when I saw Nadine's story about the National Mental Health Summit and I was super shocked. Imagine, I've been going through several things and then I saw that post from Nadine telling that there would be a National Mental Health Summit happening in SM City or a premiere and I was really moved by that. I thought, oh my god, this is what I need. Maybe even before considering seeing a therapist, maybe I should still consider this for now. So what I did is I researched about the organization. Who are the people behind this event? What are their core vision and mission? I researched that, mind you, is an organization that is doing everything to normalize and revolutionize the way Filipinos care about mental health. So to cut the long story short, yes, I registered for that 2-day event after researching about the organization, regardless if I won't have any company. I tried reaching out to some honestly, but I completely understand that people are busy. Some of my batchmates and friends and people close to me don't hold the same schedule as I do. I just decided to go alone. My biggest worry pa nga is my mom wouldn't allow me. But I could just make an excuse anyway. After all, it's not like I haven't broken the rules before. Kidding. Yes, I asked for my mom's permission, but she has no idea. She has absolutely no idea that that event would happen that particular week. So nagulat na lang siya nung nag-message sa akin, nasa Manila na ako. How did I manage to go alone? Surprisingly, I did manage. I actually know the place. I know the area because I previously went there when I had a training program about trading. So may idea talaga ako kung paano pumunta doon. I went all the way from Batangas City to Manila because supposedly I have a face-to-face class. I have a laboratory class that's around 4 to 7 p.m. Monday, October 24th. And I had to travel early. However, na-cancel siya, so I had no choice. Kailangan kong magmula sa Batangas City. I left the apartment around 4:30 a.m. and I arrived at the terminal around 5. Like the whole travel from Batangas City to Manila was a sacrifice. Kasi takot ako sa daan, baka kung anong mangyari sa akin. But thank God, I arrived safe. I arrived at Magallanes at around 6:30 a.m. And I had no idea that the travel will just take me around 1.5 hours. So I arrived there 3 hours before the event. The initial plan was me taking a taxi from Magallanes to SM City Aura Premier kasi hindi ko alam yung mga jeep na sasakyan ko. So sabi ko, sige, mag-taxi na lang ako. But the adventurous side of me took a jeepney. Hindi lang isang jeepney ha, kundi 3 jeepney before I arrived at SM Aura. So imagine I have a luggage with me because I will be there for the next 3 days. Imagine, dala-dala ko yun, 3 jeep at ang layo ng nilakad ko. But it was all worth it because I really saved a lot of money instead of just riding a taxi. So anyway, I arrived at SM Aura at around 8 o'clock a.m., 1 hour before the event. I was supposedly going to have an early check-in pero super excited kasi ako because I want to take the front seat. At na-imagine ko na baka magsiksikan yung mga tao, gusto nila sa unahan. So sabi ko, hindi, dalhin ko na lang yung bagahe ko. So I was with the luggage when I entered and when I attended the first day of the event or the summit. I was indeed very lucky pa nga because I have 2 amazing nurses who served as my company for that 2-day event. Well, first day lang naman si Ate Cherise, pero si Ate Janelle has been with me for that 2-day event. So I really didn't feel like I was alone. So let's talk about being in the front seat. Nandun kami sa pa-3rd row. And that was a huge thing kasi super kitang-kita mo yung speakers. When I checked the website of Mind You, I kind of have an idea who the speakers will be. I know and I am completely aware that the speakers came from different industries, and it's amazing because I have this idea na they will also share their stories, their personal and unique stories about mental health. Because aside from their expertise, they also have unique stories about mental health. That's why they're there. But a few days before the event, I did not intentionally check the final list of the speakers because I want to surprise myself. And indeed, I was really surprised by the set of speakers that went there and talked in the event. From the individual speakers to the host and even to the panelist. Sobrang kagaling nila. Super pulido ng buong process. I have to commend how the summit really went through. For someone who's going through several things, I think attending that summit was all that I needed. It's also very inspiring to think that it's not just this non-profit organization that has worked hard for this event. They are also supported by the local government of the gig, along with the Department of Health. So that's a huge thing because you can clearly see and you can clearly feel that everyone from different industries are working to revolutionize mental health here in the Philippines. It is also an honor to have seen myself the launch of their Mind You app. It's now available in App Store and Play Store and you can freely download it. Don't you think it's amazing that we have an app here in the Philippines about mental health where you can journal, where you can track your emotions, and more importantly, where you can book a session with a psychologist for a very affordable price. And aside from that, they also have lots of resources there about mental health, podcasts, articles, and videos that could also help you work on your mental health. The theme of this year's National Mental Health Summit is #FindHope, and it really pushed me, encouraged me to really find hope in my life. Instead of focusing on the bad things, I could choose and I could practice focusing on the positive side of life. And I haven't realized that before I attended the summit. The general experience that I could just say is that it's incomparable. How did the summit change me? I would say that the summit made me feel liberated. I could really say that the summit made me feel good about myself. Me commuting alone and finally doing something for myself is something that I would treasure because it's really such a great factor on my independence. Aside from that, I would also add that the summit changed me in a sense that after the summit, I felt a lot less guilty. Usually, for the past few months and weeks, I would honestly tell you that I've been feeling guilty when I'm resting, and I feel guilty every time I'm doing something for myself. At some point, kahit quick lang na pagpapahinga, nagigilty ako. Kasi pakiramdam ko, wala akong karapatang mapagod. Because, my parents never whine about them being tired. So, what rights do I have to say that I'm tired and I need to sleep? But after the summit, you have no idea how comfortable I am right now that, okay, I need to regain back the energy that I used to even perform better. When I approached Miss L, one of the most amazing speakers there in the summit, I told her about how I've been feeling a lot less myself because the past few weeks before the summit has been one of the terrible days of my life. And I told her about things are piling up, and sabi niya sa akin, let's turn our guilt into gratitude. Okay lang na may guilt tayo sa atin kasi it makes us become sensitive of the people around us. You see guilt as a way for you to be gratified, as a way for you to be grateful. And I told myself, this is God's way of telling me that, okay, anak, you have to attend this first and let's see what's your decision about seeing a therapist. And honestly, I'm really open about the idea. So I'm here to remind you, like what I learned in the summit, that you should never be afraid to ask for help. What did I learn from this year's National Mental Health Summit? I am out of words every time someone would ask me, ano yung natutunan mo doon? Generally, there has been a lot of good stuff I want to share. Surely, I will be posting the summary of what I learned from the summit, but going down to the core, I learned that no one has the monopoly of the solution. Because even the Undersecretary of the Department of Health, Dr. Beverly Ho, admit that the Department of Health couldn't handle it all alone. So they are very thankful that Mind You was there to lend a hand and do this advocacy. I learned that it's time for us to break the stigma, to normalize conversations about mental health because it's getting serious and it has been serious for years. Why is it that when you feel cold, a friend would deliberately tell you that, okay, you need to see a doctor. But when you feel overwhelmed and you're in the verge of being depressed, no one talks about seeing a therapist. No one talks about consulting a psychologist. And I hope you take that one step forward into normalizing it as well, like what I learned. It has been such a personal and amazing conversation I shared with you guys, and I hope that through this video, it will inspire you to take one step forward and normalize conversations about mental health. Because not everyone from different industries massively will work on mental health. But if we stay kind, we have no idea how that could change everything. We have no idea what people are going through. So the best way you could add to this advocacy is to just be kind. I want to hear your thoughts about normalizing conversations about mental health and finally breaking the stigma. Again, I'm Risha. I love talking about topics related to productivity, growth, and confidence. So if you're crazy about these topics, I would love it if you consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!